Hello Year 12 and welcome to our 5th video here on triangles. We used sine and cos in our last exercise to find the length of the opposite or the adjacent side. Today we just want to go over those, consolidate things a little bit more and just practice identifying whether we should be using sine, cos or tan. Now there are a variety of memory techniques that people use to remember these things. But frankly, you're going to have a formula sheet and that will be pretty helpful on its own. But we will go over them a few times to help remind you. Now, each of the ratios, sine, cos and tan, uses two sides of the triangle. Right? So the three sides of a triangle we have are opposite, adjacent and hypotenuse. Sine uses opposite and hypotenuse. Remember, we found the opposite by doing hypotenuse times sine theta. Cos uses adjacent and hypotenuse, and we recently calculated the adjacent by doing the hypotenuse times cos theta. And right back towards the beginning, we used tan to find the opposite by doing adjacent times tan of theta. So sine is opposite on hypotenuse, cos is adjacent on hypotenuse, and tan is opposite on adjacent. Right? Those three combinations, it's helpful to remember. Here's some examples, some exercises to practice them. Now we're not going to, and we're not asked to find the value of the pronumeral, just what ratio we should use. So here is my right angle triangle, and there's my angle. This is my hypotenuse, and I'm not using the hypotenuse. I'm using the opposite and the adjacent sides. Opposite and adjacent is tan, right? So we would use the tan ratio to solve that problem. It would be 12 times tan 67. Here's another right angle triangle. Here's my angle. This time we can see the hypotenuse is labelled at 33. And I'm trying to find this side here, which is the side not connected to the angle. So that's the opposite side. Opposite and hypotenuse, as we have in this triangle here, are sine. So we use the sine ratio there. And x would be 33 times sine 28. Another triangle here. Right angle triangle. Here's my angle. Again, the hypotenuse is labelled 2.7. And again, the side labelled x is the side that's not connected to the right angle, to the angle. So that's the opposite side and the hypotenuse. So once again, that's going to be solved with sine. So x there would be 2.7 times sine 41. Right, you thought it was going to be cos, didn't you? Yeah, well, it wasn't. Anyway, one more to go here. Right angle triangle. Here's my angle. Here's the hypotenuse, right, that's not connected to the right angle. This side here, oh, I've made a mistake. I've made a mistake here. Whoops, I meant to label them differently. I said cos, it shouldn't be cos. I've got the opposite and the hypotenuse. Scrub that out, put sine in there. So once again it's sine, but this is a tricky case where I'm not trying to find the opposite side this time. I'm trying to find the hypotenuse. So it won't be 904 times sine 55. It'll be 904 divided by sine 55. But that's something for another day. Now, disappointed that one, I made a mistake, and two, I didn't give you an example with cos, but it follows those rules. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cos, opposite hypotenuse is sine, opposite and adjacent is tan. Right, remember to fix that up when you know it's not cos, it's sine. So, a reminder, sine is opposite on hypotenuse, cos is adjacent on hypotenuse, and tan is opposite on adjacent. That's it for today. We're just going to practice those things, identifying the right ratio. Okay, next exercise is finding the hypotenuse, but if you've got any questions about today's video, make sure you write them down so you don't forget, and ask your teacher in class. Okay, see you there.